the really important thing is crypto right now is $2.7 trillion industry. It'll probably finish this cycle at $10 to $15 trillion. And by 2030 or so, it'll be $100 trillion, right? This is the largest, fastest accumulation of wealth in all human history. Here's your opportunity. You can make 100x, 1,000x, 10,000x. We've seen them all in the last 2 months. It's simple. Number go up. That's the whole crypto thematic that you need to know. You can either do all the deep dive, and I must have done 10,000 hours on this, and I might be at the right side of the curve sometimes, but I don't mind being the left either. Just don't overthink it. The moment you overthink it, that's when you get yourself into trouble and you start not seeing it for what it is, you see it for what you want it to be.
Investors and institutions are getting more excited as the day of the Bitcoin halving approaches. CEO of Real Vision, Raoul is one of the many who is looking forward to a significant increase in the value of Bitcoin after its halving. Pal explains his positive outlook on this revolutionary asset in a recent interview, emphasizing its potential for exponential development. He even suggests the possibility of mind-blowing 10,000x profits. He sees cryptocurrency as the key to unimaginable wealth. Come along as we watch the clips of Raoul explaining why the Bitcoin halving could be a once-in-a-lifetime chance. The excitement doesn't stop there, however. Stay tuned to the very end of the video, where Pal explains why the acceptance of cryptocurrencies on a worldwide scale is not only possible, but also approaching sooner than we may think. Prepare to delve into the wisdom of a pioneer as Raoul deconstructs the forces behind the cryptocurrency revolution.
This is the banana zone. So what happens at about this point in time, what we call crypto summer, we have this little shuffle around the all-time highs, and then everything just goes bananas. So I don't care whether this is tomorrow or in a month's time, because to Phil's point, the number about to go up, and don't overcomplicate it. Everyone will overcomplicate this. They'll be looking at weekly charts, daily charts, hourly charts, tick chart. Just forget it. You should have a year plus to make a lot of money. This crypto market is the biggest gift retail investors have ever been given. Here's your opportunity. You can make 100x, 1,000x, 10,000x. We've seen them all in the last 2 months. And so of course it's going to attract people, and it's rational behavior because they don't have a way out. So even Phil, your example of Bitcoin going from 60,000 to 1 million, that's a 14x. That's not going to move the dial for somebody with $5,000. So they have to take risk, and it's super risky, and everybody knows it. It's a wedge right now, right? That'll be the last chance saloon. A mini wedge, but that's it. That's all you're going to get. And after that becomes unbuyable. And how long does that wedge take to complete? Does it complete this week? Does it complete in 2 weeks' time? Doesn't really matter. If you go to the ludicrous thing that Paul Tudor Jones mentioned a while ago, and Stan Druckenmiller talked about, is 80% of Bitcoin holders don't sell, ever.
Yeah. Correct. They're in cold storage.
And it's the same with Ethereum, with the staking and everything else. So your actual supply is 20%, plus the miners. The miners keep getting halved every 4 years. So you've got no supply. So that's 20% of the let's say of the entire asset class, 2.7 trillion is actually available to buy. You bring something like an ETF and things go bananas, right? The more people who adopt it, the more the price rises. Also, the really key thing is, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the chart from Fidelity about the risk reward of assets. It's brilliant. So there's this big white page, all Fidelity branded, and here's a cluster of all of here's the NASDAQ, and here's gold, and here's oil, and here's all of that. They're all clustered in the bottom. Then there's a blank page, blank page, blank page, blank page, blank page, dot, Bitcoin. It's a alien asset class. We have never, ever had an asset class with this risk reward over a long-term time horizon and this performance in all of human history. It's pretty common around the all-time highs that, people take some chips off the table. We're seeing long-term wallet addresses taking some chips off the table. It's pretty common ahead of the halving. Then it normally goes into what I refer to as the banana zone. And that's when you get the real price action. So the real price action hasn't happened yet.
Raoul Pal shared his thoughts on the present situation of the cryptocurrency industry on X, formerly known as Twitter, only last Tuesday. Pal is optimistic about the future of major digital currencies despite their recent dips. He stresses that it's important to keep in mind that the adoption of cryptocurrencies is still growing at a rate twice as fast as the internet, even on days like this one, when the market sees drops. Pal predicts that up to 1 million people may be using cryptocurrency by the end of 2025. Pal is positive about the determination and potential of the cryptocurrency industry, even in the face of setbacks. He has continuously counseled fans to maintain their composure, stressing the need of diligence and perseverance in navigating the market's volatility and being ready for future market booms. Pal's forecasts show that digital currencies have a bright future ahead of them, despite market volatility. Continued strong adoption rates are anticipated. Now that Raoul Pal has expanded on the phenomenal rise of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, let's take a closer look at his thoughts.
So I discovered this chart back in 2020, and what it is the number of active wallets in crypto. Crypto.com measure this, versus the, active IP addresses of the internet. And I always thought, well, this is a network adoption model, the same kind of thing. It's an adoption of a technology. And I wonder what they look like. And I put them over each other. And what we found was that, obviously, because the internet was the rails that already exists, the adoption of a new technology that uses those rails is faster. And it's actually twice the speed of the internet. So if you can get your heads around how big the internet was for all of us, this is happening at twice the speed. It's driven the fastest appreciation asset of all time. The compounded annual returns of, let's say, Bitcoin is about 150% a year, even with 80% drawdowns 4 times in the middle of it. We've literally never been given an asset like this with an adoption like this. And going forwards, if we just assume that the rate of growth just matches that of the internet from here until the end of 2025, we end up with 1 billion users. And if we extrapolate that out to 2030, we get to 4 billion users. So basically, this is a pervasive technology that's going to take over all of our lives in ways we don't really understand. It's not just going to be about investing in cryptocurrencies, it's just going to be the underlying rails of transactions. 500 million wallets. Now, people will say, well, they're not all active and everyone's got multiple wallets. I hear you. That's all a mid-curve take. Basically, it's growing massively. And if we looked at IP addresses, how many IP addresses do we all have? Mm-hmm. We have multiple. So it's just an easy way of referencing the growth. Wait till Taylor Swift has a token economy or sports teams properly. You know, this is where it's going.
Yeah.
Right. We're going to a world where we will have equity in our culturally important things to us. In a world of AI replacing jobs, this is the future. You can't see it yet because it's super speculative and it's super early. But what we're doing is we're creating little mini groups of tokenized economies around ideas, memes, culture. We're tokenizing culture. And as you rightly say, Howard, this was a moment that people look back on, much like they'll look back on NFTs from last cycle. You know, NFTs in the end are going to be every single ticket, every single contract. Mm-hmm. But that was the start, it happened to be art. The really important thing is crypto right now is $2.7 trillion industry. It'll probably finish this cycle at $10 to $15 trillion. And by 2030 or so, it'll be $100 trillion, right? This is the largest, fastest accumulation of wealth in all human history. It's as simple as that. That's what that chart tells you. Now, what everybody does, and Howard, you explained, there is a bell curve. And you want to be on the left of the bell curve, which is actually the same as being the Jedi Master on the right of the bell curve. Everybody in the middle who overthinks it, it's simple. Number go up. That's the whole crypto thematic that you need to know. You can either do all the deep dive, and I must have done 10,000 hours on this, and I might be at the right side of the curve sometimes, but I don't mind being the left either. Just don't overthink it. The moment you overthink it, that's when you get yourself into trouble and you start not seeing it for what it is, you see it for what you want it to be.
Raoul Pal revealed a fascinating discovery he found on the use of cryptocurrencies back in 2020. He made a comparison between the quantity of active IP addresses on the internet and the quantity of active cryptocurrency wallets as reported by Crypto.com. This comparison showed an interesting trend. New technologies are being adopted utilizing the current internet infrastructure twice as quickly as the internet is growing. He underlined the importance of this finding, pointing out that, despite sporadic large losses, the compound yearly returns of Bitcoin, for example, have been about 150%. Raoul Pal believes that this unusually quick adoption will cause a significant upheaval in our way of life. According to his projections, the number of Bitcoin users might reach 1 billion by 2025 and reach 4 billion by 2030. Raoul sees a world in which cryptocurrencies are widely used as the foundation for commerce, as well as a cultural phenomenon and investment vehicles. He sees a scenario in which tokenization permeates every aspect of life, including sports and music, democratizing ownership and spawning new industries centered on culture and ideas. Raoul thinks it's important not to overthink this concept, even though it is speculative in nature. He compares the cryptocurrency area to a bell curve and suggests that one either be on the right side, similar to a Jedi Master, or on the left side, where early adopters live. He cautions that overanalyzing can cause one to lose sight of the straightforward idea that number go up, which is the basis of the whole crypto theme. In the end, Raoul believes that the $2.7 trillion cryptocurrency market is just the beginning of a huge wealth accumulation that might reach $100 trillion by 2030.